So today I'm going to tackle a subject that many people complain about constantly, and it is a subject that bears talking about, and that is the classic, why are there so many M4s? So, as anyone who's been playing for a while has noticed, quite recently especially, the M4 and AR-15 pattern of rifle is definitely the most predominant rifle on the airsoft field. AKs are kind of catching up, but M4s still really take the cake. If you see a new airsoft gun coming out, odds are it's related to the M4 somehow. So why is that? Well, if you want the simplest answer, licensing and the popularity of the AR-15 in the real world. So it's hard to do R&D, and it's hard to invent new concepts all the time. So what you have to do in many cases is work off of an existing concept and try to offer a better iteration on the concept than the last guy's iteration on the concept. So the AR-15 market in the real firearms world right now is doing a lot of innovation by degrees. You see stuff like the Cobalt Kinetics AR-15s, which are AR-15 pattern rifles, but now they eject the magazine automatically and close the bolt automatically when you insert a new magazine. So that's still an AR-15 at its heart. It still functions the same way. It still has the same bolt carrier group, same barrels, same upper receivers from what I can tell. So it's still an AR-15, but it offers these different features. And the airsoft industry, being so closely tied to the shooting industry these days, is very much imitating that, because the AR pattern rules the world. But that's also because the AR pattern is out for anybody to use. It's kind of an open source, it is an open source platform. There's no, as long as you're not using anyone else's trademarks in the side of the receiver or any of the markings or the rail system that they have patented or whatever, it's the Wild West. You can make whatever you want based on the AR-15 pattern because it's open source. It's the same reason we're starting to see more AKs now, because AKs are also totally open source. There's really no copyright or trademark protection on the AK or AR-15 base patterns of rifles. So you're able to do whatever you want. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, where did all the MP5s go? Ask H&K. They're the ones who partnered with Umarex and started cracking down on all the unlicensed H&K MP5 replicas. Now the only MP5 replicas on the market are either so different they're not MP5s anymore, or they're offered by Umarex or Elite Force because licensing. And that's kind of where all the weird guns went. For one reason or another, a lot of the weird guns either got pushed out by licensing or people just stopped buying them because the AR-15 and M4 pattern is so popular and you can do so much with it because of its modularity. Again, AKs are starting to catch up, both in the real firearms community and in airsoft. The AK is really seeing an uptick in popularity, but the AR owns that open source, do whatever you want with it mentality that it basically makes it the gaming PC of rifles, because you can build it however you want, to whatever performance specs you want, to whatever needs you have. So then, speaking again about licensing and why there aren't more variety of guns, because I hear you saying now, oh, well, Umarex and Elite Force owns the H&K trademark, well, why don't they come out with a G3 or all this other stuff that I really want to see? Well, they're probably analyzing the market and they might not see the market there. I mean, think about it. Who wants to buy an expensive full metal G3 right now? It's going to be a pretty short list of people who are looking for that. A lot of other people are going to be looking for an SR25 or AR-10 variant, or they're just going to buy an M4. It's kind of tough because those niche guns that require you to exercise that licensing and do a lot of R&D to make them new and make an original design or something that you own the trademark to, it's a big investment, and bringing those to the market is a risk. So I think we're seeing where a lot of executives are looking at the market and aren't seeing the market there because everyone's buying M4s, so thus everyone wants M4s according to the executives, so then the cycle continues. So it is a very vicious cycle where everyone's buying M4s because M4s are what's on offer and you can do so much with M4s, so there's going to be more M4s and there's going to be more M4s on offer and more you can do with M4s. And it really is kind of disappointing because I love my AR pattern rifles. Don't get me wrong. I run my Crytac. That's my lightsaber. I love that gun. I love my AR pattern rifles. But I do look at some other things and I'm like, okay, why hasn't this been made? Why can't we have this? And I do wish that there was more variety in the market just because it's Airsoft. You know, we like playing with cool stuff that we can't necessarily really get otherwise. I mean, I live in New York. There's a lot of stuff I can't get. So if I could build out, you know, a G3 or something like that, or a PSG-1, or some of those really weird guns that you see out there that I know Umarex, Cybergun, Jag Precision, Spartan Imports, I know there's some market share that is kind of missing from those weird guns. And I do hope the industry starts to recognize that. So what can we do as players to try to make the industry recognize that, yes, we want some different, weird, cool old guns? Honestly, I would try to talk to everyone you can who you know within the industry and kind of hound them, you know, let them know, hey, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this. And eventually, when people see the overwhelming demand, they'll be like, okay, let's try this. Or if you have a reenactment group you're part of, or if you have a team that maybe is sponsored by one of these companies, especially if you guys are a reenactment group, then try to use that and try to get more people involved and get more demand for those weird guns with your friends and you and your team and your group. And that's part of why the E&L series has sold so well, because of the big demand for Russian impressionism. That's really taken off and built AKs out into a serious contender in the market because of so many Russian players. So what about German players? Maybe you want more G36 variants that are more accurate to what the German army is using. I know Umarex and Elite Force have a few, but I have my own opinions on the internals that those have. So maybe you want some more variety, or maybe you want them to be updated. Well, they don't do that because they don't sell a ton of them. So give that a shot. So to summarize, the problem is there's too many M4s and not enough weird guns. The answer to why is because licensing and AR-15s and now AKs are very popular. And the solution is hound the industry, try to get what you want made, buy the stuff that you want. Because again, if the sales aren't there, they're not gonna make it. So buy the stuff that you want. If someone makes what you want, buy it, demonstrate the demand. And also, if you're in a reenactment group or if you do any stuff like that, really try to push that and try to get more people involved and try to manufacture that demand within your community and within your friend circle. So I hope that all makes sense to you. I hope this video was fun and informative. And this is E-House from Gun Gamers, signing off.